Good morning, everybody. Quirk here, and it's the morning drive. Today is February 29th. Yeah, it's the 29th. This thing only happens like once every 4 years or something like that. It's awesome. Anyway, and basically what I do is I drive to work. It's about a 15 to 20 minute drive. Usually it lands around 17 minutes. And during that time, I talk and answer questions. Mostly answer questions from the video before. The video before was on Friday. Today's Monday. Yay, Friday questions. So, without further ado, let's get started because I'm at a stop sign right now. And the first question is from Tabletop Banner. Hey Quirk, what is the greatest comeback you've ever pulled off in a game of 40k? That's a good question. I don't want to get hit by that car. I'm trying to think of if there's one that was on camera that was like a pretty sweet comeback, and I don't think there is one. I think the only one that actually comes to mind, and this one actually ended up winning me a tournament, and the guy who I won against ended up like just rage quitting and leaving because it was pretty dumb. But this was back in either 5th or 6th edition. I want to say 6th edition, and my list at 2,000 points consisted of, I was playing Granite at the time, it consisted of Drago, a Librarian, Mastery level 2, 2 Storm Ravens, and I'd filled both of them. One had Drago in it with 5 Paladins, the other one had the Librarian in it with 5 Paladins. They were all decked out, like Apothecary in there, stuff like that. And then the last thing I did to tie up the rest of the points was I brought a Dread Knight, and I gave the Dread Knight everything. So it had Shunt, it had like the Psy Cannon, it had the, I think I gave it the sword. But anyway, made up my 2,000 point list, but it only consisted of, at the end, 15 models. And this is back when Black Knight Games still, or not Black Knight Games, this is back when Mini Wargaming still had a store. And we're playing, and we're in the final round of the tournament. The first game I played against was against a Tau player who was just learning the game, was a little rocky, and didn't know what he was doing, so I felt kind of bad, but at the same time, it was like, I'm gonna show you some stuff, but I'm still gonna win, because I want to win this tournament. Second game was actually against Justin, like Mini Wargaming Justin. We finished the first turn, and he's like, I quit, I'm done, I don't want to play this. I was like, really? He's like, yes, you're like wrecking my army. He had brought like 2 Land Raiders, and in the first turn I blew up both of them. So yeah, it was a dumb list. And so we got to the final round, and the guy brought Orcs, and his whole tactic was just go for objectives, try and win on those, and just swarm his opponent with boys and grots and heavy cannons and stuff like that. So I was like, okay, well, we'll see how this goes. Oh, this may have been, bad choices were made. I'm now in the middle of an intersection where people are driving at me. Really? Really, bud? Okay. That was a little bit of road rage right there. You saw Quirk road rage a little bit. Anyway, so he's got so many boys. I don't have, he goes by, he was doing the tactic of more bodies than bullets, and it was working. So I was having a really hard time actually getting through anything. So I took out all this big stuff, but it was just all the little guys and the pain boys and stuff like that. I just couldn't get through them. There was just too many. So it comes to like the last turn, and I've already had 2 major victories, and he's had a major victory and a minor victory. So I mapped it up in my head. I was like, if I can get a minor loss and give him a minor victory, I'll still win by points. But the only way I can do that is by holding this one objective, and he'll only get however many points and blah 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 blah. If I don't do that, he'll have 2 major victories and a minor victory, and I'll have 2 major victories and a minor loss. And I was looking at the points layout for everything like that. I was like, no, if I do the minor loss to the minor victory, that'll win me the tournament. So I went all out, did everything I possibly could to get the minor loss. He's like, I still win. I was like, yeah, that's fine. He's like, I guess I win the tournament. And Jordan at the time was the guy who was running the tournament. He adds up all the points and everything. He goes, hey, Quirk wins. And this guy just lost his mind. He's like, how did he no, I won all 3 of my games. He lost the last one. There's no way he should have won. And basically Jordan was like, yeah, but he did technically win with 2 majors and 1 minor. You lost with like 1 major and 2 minors. You don't get the points for it. And Buddy was just mad. But I ended up managing to squeak out that victory in the tournament just because I was able to get those Terminators to hold the one objective, which prevented him from getting a major victory by holding all three. He only got the minor, and he didn't end up tabling me or anything like that, so he couldn't get the major victory. And I won just like by a hair. I think it was at the end I had 14 points and he had 13 points, kind of thing. It was so close. It was ridiculous. So yeah, that's the best comeback I ever had, where at the very end Buddy was winning and I still managed to sneak out the tournament win. But that's the best thing I can think of. And it was kind of a jerk move on my part, but I went to a tournament, I'm playing to win. It's just kind of how it works, right? So. And before I read the next question, I got a new phone case. And that sounds really unexciting, but if you guys saw it, you'd understand. It is an ultramarine phone case. I actually got it custom ordered from a company called skinit.com. That sounds really awkward, but whatever. Neat thing about it is that it actually doubles as my wallet. So you can open up the back and there's a slot in there for, I think, 4 credit card, driver's license card, stuff like that. I stuck 3 in there and a 20. So just folded up a $20 bill and slid that in there, and it works. It's also really nice because if your card has like the tap feature, you don't have to take your card out of the case. You can just tap your phone against whatever you're using and it goes through. I like it. So check them out if you want to get a custom phone case made up. Alright, shameless plug done. Next up, CJ Phoenix. Morning, how was your weekend? Tonight, Friday, I faced Eldar with my Raven Guard. I'm expecting a Wraith heavy list, probably. But I have a sneaky plan to kill me some Space Elves. Have you ever gone into a battle with a plan that's just gone off perfectly, leaving your opponent helpless for the rest of the game? Yes, I have. I'll answer that question before I answer how my weekend was. There's a video that will be coming up on Mini Wargaming. It will be Alpha Legion versus Ultramarines. There's 2 versions of it. The one in the vault, watch that one, and you will watch me with my army just execute the way it's supposed to be done, like a frickin' surgeon. It is just disgusting how perfect everything went. So I would definitely recommend that. If you're not a Vault member, try the 7-day free trial just to watch that video, because it is ridiculous how well my army did in that fight. I'm not gonna say which army I was playing, because I collect both Alpha Legion and Ultramarine, so sneaky, but yeah, check that out if you want to have a good laugh there. My weekend was good. It was I went to a party, and well, it's my channel, I can say what I want, whatever. I went to a party and I bought for myself to drink a bottle of Jack Daniels and drank the whole thing to myself. That's pretty much how my weekend started. And the rest of the weekend was recuperating from that terrible, terrible mistake. Yep. So there you go. That was my weekend. And that's pretty much where I'm going to leave it at. Next up, Jacob Arthur. Did you ever flip out on someone while doing your door-to-door sales stuff? And 2, do you ever rage quit out of a video game or Warhammer / other game? For the video game one, yes. I'm pretty sure everybody at some point in time has rage quit. Yes, I'm just going to say yes, I have. There's been a ton of times that I have. Most recently would be with Eternal Crusade. I was getting really, really frustrated because there was one guy hiding in a corner with a plasma cannon, and every time I walked in, it would just absolutely obliterate me. Like, I didn't even see it coming. I'd walk in and be like, oh, hey, boom, dead. I was like, oh. Walk in the exact same room, buddy's still camping there. I'm like, I hate campers so much. So I know it's a legit strategy and all that stuff, but still drives me absolutely insane. But I went in, I kept going in, that guy just kept just pelting me with plasma rounds. So I was like, all right, I'm done. I can't deal with this anymore. So I quit halfway through the game. I was just so frustrated. As for the flipping out on somebody, there was one time I didn't flip out. I think the person I was trying to sell the vacuum to lost their mind a little bit more than I did. If you watched the previous videos, I would have explained this a little bit. But one of our advertising methods was giving out scratch cards that gave you poker hands. And it worked a little bit backwards. The best poker hand gave you the worst prize, and the worst poker hand actually gave you the best prize. So I think it was if you got 2 pairs, you got like 10 grand, Whereas if you got like a royal flush, you got a knife set. So, huge difference there. Anyway, this one family calls and they're like, oh, we've won. You gotta come. Oh my gosh, we could use this money so much. You have to come and like give us our money because we won. And my boss basically tells me, like, yeah, these people are really excited because they think they won. Have fun breaking it to them that they're getting a knife set. And I was like, do you know what they drew? He's like, yeah, they won't stop talking about how they got a royal flush and that's the best hand in poker. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I get there. And I go up to the door, and I'm like, hi, I'm so-and-so from, like, I'm not going to say the company's name because I can't legally. I signed a non-disclosure thing about it. I can still talk about it, I just can't say the name of the company. But, went there, they're like, hi, I'm just going to say I'm from company name. I'm like, hi, I'm from company name. My name's Dave, blah, blah, blah. They're like, oh, awesome. Do you have our money? And I was like, well, if you read the back of the thing, you have to watch a presentation before you can receive your prize, and on and on and on. They're like, oh, well, how long does the presentation take? I'm like, about an hour. And they're like, yeah, we could wait around an hour for 10 grand. I mean, come on, what's this you're showing? I'm like, it's a piece of medical equipment for people with like breathing problems. So like, well, with 10 grand, we might even just buy one from you. I'm like, yeah. Anyway, got all the way through it, did the entire presentation. They were still, like, the entire time I'm doing it, they're on cloud 9 because they're thinking they're getting 10 grand. And I'm looking at their apartment, and it is just, like, I'm pretty sure it was, like, people in their 30s, but their apartment looked like a frat house. Like, there was pizza boxes stacked up, there was beer cans everywhere, there was just garbage all over the floor. They had kids. The kids were running around. I'm just like, I'm sorry, I'm not a parent. I know I don't have much to say towards this, but their kids were pudgy and, like, unhealthily pudgy. So, anyway, on and on and on. I get to the end, I'm just like, just to let you know, like, you can get all of this. It's a great value, especially when you consider how much you can, like, benefit from it for medical health, and on and on and on. Showed them the price, they're like, well, wow, that's actually quite priced. That would take a huge chunk out of our 10 grand. I was like, yes, it would. So, anyway, I'm assuming you're not interested. I didn't want to try and sell to them. I knew right from the get-go, they had no interest whatsoever in what I was selling. They were just being polite because they thought I was going to give them a crap ton of money. So they're like, oh, well, thank you so much for the presentation, but we're really not interested. We just wanted our prize. I'm like, okay, can I please see your scratch ticket? And I look at it, I'm like, okay, it's a royal flush. That will be a knife set. I basically reached in the bag because I knew what it was, and I pulled out the knife set and the cutting board, and I handed it to them. They're like, no, seriously, where's our money? And I'm like, you guys didn't win the 10 grand. They're like, we have the best poker hand you can possibly get. I'm like, I'm aware. And that gets you a knife set. And they're like, I want to talk to your manager. I was like, I'm a door-to-door salesman, so you pretty much get to talk to me. They're like, well, and they lost it. They started to talk about, like, poker stats, started to talk about how, like, they need the money. They started to try and guilt me into giving them the money. I'm like, I don't have a check for 10 grand on me. Like, I don't just carry that around. But they yelled at me for a good 20 minutes straight. On and on and on. Buddy in the background was getting on the phone, talking to my boss, yelling at him, being like, this is crap. Your guy came here saying we're going to get the 10 grand. He specifically said we were going to get 10 grand. My boss goes on the phone with me. He's like, did you actually? I was like, no. Why would I say that? He's like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. And we had, like, this whole inner circle thing. And basically he's just like, if you had to rate them, where would you put them? I'm like, squirrel. Hardcore squirrel. And basically a squirrel is somebody who's just, like, nutty. As bad as that is, we have, like, this whole animal thing, and normally we're really subtle about it. Like, we'll be all like, oh wow, there's a squirrel. Like, we'll say, like, oh, we just saw one outside. No, I flown was like, they're squirrels. They are full-on hardcore squirrels right now. And they're like, what are you talking about? Are you calling us squirrels? And I'm like, I don't even care if they know. I don't even care right now. I just want to get out of this house. They started throwing stuff at me in their house, like they're throwing beer cans at me. So I'm like, all right, I'm so done with this. Packed up my stuff, got in the truck, started driving away. My boss calls me on my cell phone. He's just like, you have to go back. They've calmed down. They want to apologize. I'm like, can you have them call me and I'll just accept the apology over the phone? They're like, no, they want you to go there and actually apologize because they feel bad that I threw stuff at you. I'm like, all right, fine, whatever. So I go back. I'm not even out of the car, and the lady comes out with a hammer in her hand. I was like, what is going on? she starts hitting the front of my truck. Like, I was driving a truck. I was just, like, hitting the side of my truck. She's like, get out of here. I want to talk to you. I was like, oh, this is not an apology. So I rolled down the window a little bit, and I'm like, I'm not getting out of the car while you're holding a hammer. Like, this is, you clearly don't want to apologize. You want to hit me. She was like, you're damn right I want to hit you. Get out here. You got us all excited. I even told my mom that we won 10 grand. This is so much crap. And I was like, okay, well, whatever. So then she takes the card that she won on, throws it back to me. She's like, I don't want the prize. I'm like, okay, but you still have the knife and cutting board inside. She's like, yeah, well, if you want it, you come get it. Without her, before she walked away, I just looked out and I was just like, maybe if you were really, really smart, you would have realized that this was a scam from the start. But clearly, by the state of your living condition, you're not the smartest tool in the workshop. Oh, I got that line out. She turned around. I started backing up my truck, and she whipped the hammer at my car. It landed in the back of my truck, but I was like, she threw a freaking hammer at me. Oh, that was awesome. So, yeah, still not as crazy as the like nude scene where nude sales rep, whatever you want to call it. That was just special, but still. People like to lose their mind when they are wrong. Anyway, yeah, that's the biggest flip out I've done, is I just told somebody that their living conditions sucked and they were stupid. Next up we have Cody Asher. Quirk, if you could assign a Warm Hordes army to everyone at Mini Wargaming, who would get what? Oh, okay. I feel like Matt would get Convergence, because everything is so analytical and logical with him, and that army functions like clockwork. That just makes sense. Steve and Signar was actually a good matchup right there. I feel like that's a good mix for him. Dave would be either, I almost want to say Dave would just be Scorn, because they're pretty much like Korn. They're just all about the blood. So, blood, torture, all that fun stuff. Not really fun. Lee, I would have to say, oh, that's a tricky one. I almost want to say Kador, but that's just, it's gonna, I feel like I'm saying that because Kador is Russian and he's a foreign. Whatever. Josh would be Trolls, hands down. Josh would be Trolls, no questions asked. He just seems like a troll player. Chris? I feel like Chris would be, name's gone. Retribution, there it is. I feel like Chris would be Retribution, just because he likes the whole elfish look to them, and they are probably the ones that have the sleekest, most roundish shape to them. So that would be something I think Chris would normally would take. So we got Rob would probably be Crix, because he loves zombies. I can't. Oh, and Justin would be anything that he could paint pink. So he'd probably take Pharaoh, which he already did. So yeah, I think that's what everybody would pick if they got to choose what they wanted. If I had to pick for myself, I'd probably say Menoth, but that's just because Menoth. I don't know. But yeah, that's pretty much it there. I got enough time here for one more question before I have to actually go in and do some work here. And it will be Mitchell Sampson. Just finished watching all of your videos. Love the channel. I'm looking to get into Warm Hordes very soon. I'm just not sure which army I want. Could you make a video giving an overview of the basic lore and way each army plays? You know what, Michael? Just for you, I will do that. And I will post it on this channel, and you can enjoy it. But that's it right now, guys. Actually, I might be able to finish these two. Yeah, actually, there's just one more thing. Evan Bertucci. Anyway, how are you going to do your morning drive videos when the weather gets warmer and you drive your bike to work? I probably won't drive my bike to Welland just because it's all highway. It's not a very fun drive. I usually drive the bike on like weekends, or if I'm just coming up here to grab something really quick. I normally have stuff in the car. That's why. And then, hey Quirk. Oh, Evan Bertucci again. Hey Quirk, was wondering what's your take on purchasing recast models? Many people share your frustrations with GW and Forge World cost when it comes to collecting and expanding your armies. I know many Wargaming's view, just wondering if you share this view. That one I will actually save for tomorrow's video. Will be the one that I start with. because there's actually a good little rant that I'm going to get on about that one. So that's it for today, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Aside from that comment, if you want me to read your comment or answer any questions that you have, please leave a comment below. Also, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And until tomorrow, have a wonderful day.